All right, if you're a web dev, and especially if you're in the React or Next.js world, you're going to want to listen up. There's this toolkit from Vercel that's basically becoming the way to build AI into your web apps. It's called the Vercel AI SDK. And today, we're going to tear it down, see exactly what makes it tick, and figure out why it might just be the most critical tool you add to your arsenal this year. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to talk about the pain, the absolute headache of trying to build AI features from scratch. Then we'll see how Vercel's AI SDK swoops in to save the day. We'll pop the hood, look at the key concepts, see who's actually using this thing and why, and help you figure out if it's the right tool for you. And we'll finish off by looking at what's coming down the pipe for AI on the web. All right, first up, let's talk about a problem I'm willing to bet a lot of you have run into, just how ridiculously complicated it is to integrate AI features by hand. Seriously, just take a second and think. Have you ever actually tried to build, say, a chatbot or some kind of AI content generator? If you have, you know it's not just one little API call. Oh no, it's a deep dive into a whole world of pain and complexity. And yeah, this slide just lays out all the hurdles, right? You've got to handle streaming all that data, token by token, just to get that cool ChatGPT-style typing effect. You're also juggling all this complex state. Loading states, error states, the final response, it's a mess. Then you got to worry about performance. You need to push it out to the edge so your users get a super fast response wherever they are in the world. And oh, what happens if you want to switch from, say, OpenAI to Anthropic's Claude? Yep, that's a whole new integration you have to build from the ground up. It's just so much plumbing, and it totally gets in the way of what you actually want to do, which is build the cool feature. But what if there was a tool that just handled all that nasty plumbing for you? Well, that's where we get to the really elegant solution, the Vercel AI SDK. So what is it really? Well, at its heart, it's an open source toolkit built specifically for web developers like us. Its whole purpose, its reason for existing, is to take all the messy, complicated parts of building an AI-powered UI and just hide them away. It lets you work with patterns that you already know, they're already comfortable with. Okay, to really get why this is such a big deal, let me give you an analogy that every single web dev will understand. Remember the bad old days trying to make web requests with XML HTTP request? It was just awful, so clunky, so complicated. And then tools like Fetch and Axios came along and gave us this beautiful, clean, simple way to do the exact same thing. Well, that is exactly what the Vercel AI SDK does for AI. You can literally think of it as the Axios for the AI era. It takes all of that manual, super complex integration work and just boils it down to this clean, simple interface. So you can finally focus on building the cool stuff, not wrestling with boilerplate code. So you're probably wondering, how does it actually pull this off? How can it be that simple? Well, let's pop the hood and take a look at the core concepts that make it all work. The magic here really boils down to three core pillars. First up, React hooks. Things like useChat and useCompletion. These are an absolute game changer because they let you handle all the AI state management automatically. Second, streaming support is built right in. You get that smooth token-by-token UI effect right out of the box, no extra work. And third, it's designed from the ground up to run on the Edge runtime, which means your users get blazing fast, low-latency performance no matter where they are on the planet. And when you put all three of those things together, the result is kind of staggering. It means you can build a complete streaming AI chatbot, something that honestly used to take days, maybe even weeks of work, in just 10 lines of code. Seriously, 10. And here's the proof right here. Look how simple this is. You just import useChat from the library, you call it, and it gives you back everything you need to build a UI. The messages array, the input value, and a handle submit function for your form. That's it. All the messy stuff, the state management, the streaming, the API calls, it's all handled for you, under the hood. It just feels like using any other React hook you're already familiar with. That kind of simplicity is incredibly powerful, and it's no wonder the SDK is getting adopted so quickly. So let's talk about who's actually using this thing in the real world, and what kind of stuff are they building with it. Okay, so no big surprise here, the biggest chunk of users are web developers, right? Especially folks steep in the React and Next.js world. But what's cool is that it's also being grabbed by startups that are building brand new AI products from scratch, agencies that need to add AI features for their clients, and even big enterprise teams trying to bring their apps into the modern era. And the use cases are pretty much what you'd imagine. Of course, AI chatbots are the most popular starting point. But beyond that, we're seeing people build some really awesome content and code generation tools. They're also using it to power up their site search with semantic understanding, and they're adding things like text summarization features. All the stuff that used to be a massive pain to build on the front end. All right, so this brings us to the big question. Is this tool the right choice for your next project? Let's break it down and help you decide. Here's the deal. You should absolutely be reaching for the Vercel AI SDK if you're building with React or something like Next.js. If you need those streaming AI responses, if you plan on deploying to Vercel or any other Edge platform, and if you're just generally working in a modern web stack, then yeah, this thing was literally made for you. But let's be real, it's not a silver bullet for every situation. If you're not using a React-based framework, this probably isn't for you. Same goes if you're building a backend-only application with no UI. And if you need to dig really deep into some super specific niche feature of a particular AI model's own SDK, you might still be better off just using that one directly. This little comparison table really makes it clear. You've got something like LangChain, which is super powerful for complex backend AI workflows, where the AI is making its own decisions, but it's not really built for the UI. Then you have the direct SDK from, say, OpenAI. It gives you all the control, but you have to handle all the streaming and edge stuff yourself. The Vercel AI SDK really hits that sweet spot. It's the only one that's truly optimized for the web, with that laser focus on React, streaming, and edge performance. All right, let's start to wrap this up. We'll take a quick look at where all this is going and then boil everything down to the most important takeaways. So if you only remember 3 things from all this, make it these. First, the Vercel AI SDK makes adding AI to React apps insanely simple, all thanks to hooks. Second, it's built for web developers, so you get to use the patterns you already know to build really powerful stuff. And third, its focus on the edge is what lets you deliver those super fast global AI experiences that users expect now. Look, the Vercel AI SDK lowers the barrier to entry so much. The question really isn't, can I build it anymore? The new question is, what should I build? So after seeing just how simple this can be, what's the first AI feature you're going to build?